Hi there Pisces, welcome to your August 2023 reading. As I'm shuffling your cards, I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I'm doing this reading from, the Gumbaynggirr people, and recognize their continued connection to the land, waters, and their culture. And I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. So let's begin this reading with Pygmy Possum Curiosity. So this month, okay, we are in Leo season, Leo representing your 6th house, and at the same time we have a Venus retrograde in that 6th house as well. I have done a separate video on the Venus retrograde. I'll link it down below for you to go and check that out because it goes into so much detail about how to utilize that energy to maximize your potential, to mold it in a way that you can create a life worth living for yourself. And there's a separate tarot card reading for each zodiac sign in there. The other thing that's happening this month that's really important to know is that we begin Virgo season on August the 23rd, so at the end of the month. And that represents your 7th house, your house of opposite. And it is the house where we look at our closest connections, at our partnerships, past, present, and future, or future. And Mars has been traveling through there, okay, for this whole month. It will travel there through this whole month and will make an opposition with your ruling planet Neptune. So that happens on August the 23rd. So that's creating a lot of tension and a lot of this need to be curious, to be open to curiosity. But the other thing is on August the 24th, Mercury will move retrograde in Virgo as well, in your 7th house. So that's going to be a massive transit for you, Pisces, because it'll be bringing your focus to yourself through the mirror of other people. So there's a lot of work to be doing on yourself at this time. And it's important to remember to stay open and curious. That will be helpful and beneficial for you to navigate through the energy that's happening. So the really exciting thing about this Venus retrograde overlapping the Mercury retrograde, these two personal planets being in retrograde, is that they are activating deep work and immense growth on a very personal level within the core of our being for everybody, not just you Pisces, but for everybody. But with this Venus retrograde happening in Leo in your 6th house, this is all about your routines. It's all about your lifestyle, your daily habits. It's about your sense of well-being and the things that you do every single day, the smaller things that you do every day. And this Pygmy Possum card signifies that. It signifies your habits, your routines, your emotional cycles, your thought processes, and how these impact you, and therefore how they impact your vibrational state of being, and therefore your physical reality as well. And this is a time to create change, to create shifts, to uplift your patterns, to uplift your habits, your routines. So it's a really good time to look at your daily routine, look at your automatic processes, like really even the smallest things, like what you do when you get up, what you do when you, for what you eat for breakfast, you get dressed, do you have shower, do you sit around in your PJs, those kinds of things make such a big difference. We really don't realize that the subtle things make such a huge difference in our state of being, in our feelings about ourselves, in our self-confidence. So this month is what you'll be looking at. You'll be looking at those subtle routines. And then also with the Mercury retrograde in the 7th house, you're going to be looking at your routine, your automatic thinking, your unconscious programming, your unconscious beliefs that operate outside of your awareness. We're bringing more awareness around them in terms of your relationships, in terms of how you relate to other people and how you connect with other people. And this is a time of being flexible, being ready to change your beliefs and change your behaviors. Small changes can make significant differences, okay? That's what the Pygmy Possum is trying to show you. The Pygmy Possum is really linked to food as well. So, and that 6th house is where we look at our diet. We look at our nutritional value of the food that we're ingesting into our bodies to create health, because it is the house of health. It's the house of our physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional health. So looking at our health from all those angles, that will be really important. Venus is wanting you to bring lots more love, lots more gentleness and kindness to yourself. So not pushing your body too hard, just bringing that nurturing energy to your body, nurturing it into health and well-being. the Chariot, Knight of Swords, and Seven of Wands, sorry. So the Chariot card has been coming out for a lot of signs this month, and I think what this is really trying to say is this work that I've just rambled on about with the retrograde energy and doing that really personal, deep work. It is hard. It is not easy to sit with ourselves, sit with our unconscious, and to be honest and truthful with ourselves about what we need to change, about our habits and about how they're impacting us. It takes courage. And the people who will be the most successful during this time are the people that have the courage to admit where they're going wrong and to do something about it. Okay, so this is why this Chariot card is asking you to, is what it's asking you to do. It's asking you to be courageous, to courageously look at yourself through a lens of honesty and sincerity. There could be, with the Seven of Wands comes out, there's usually some form of conflict. It can be internal, but with the 7th house, 6th house activation, there could be other people involved. And this conflict may be causing you to stand up for your rights, stand up for your values, stand up for what's true to you. So like I said, with that Mars opposition with Neptune, with the Virgo activation, is that opposing energy from you can challenge you. It can be very challenging, and it can make you feel like you have to stand up for yourself. So having a look at defensiveness, Pisces, could be a really beneficial way for you to work through this energy at this time. If you're feeling really defensive, it's usually a pretty good indicator that there's something going on there that's out of alignment. There's something for you to look at. You're being triggered. Things are coming up for you. So taking that time to look at it, to be courageous and look at it. With the Knight of Swords, the Knight can be quite rushed. He can rush in, can be quite hasty. So looking at your triggers, again, like looking at what's triggering you and why, getting to underneath it, instead of reacting, instead of responding, create a gap. So when you're feeling triggered, create a gap between that trigger and your response, because when we react, we usually react from the unconscious programming. We're reacting from our unconscious belief systems, from our negative limiting beliefs, and our lower manifestations of our emotional set point. So that reaction is going to get you the same results you've always had. So to create change, you need to create a gap, and then you need to choose your response. Now, the more self-aware we are, the more conscious we are, the more courageous we are, the easier it is to choose responses in real time and to do those things in real time. And not everybody will do it all the time. Even the best of us don't do it every single time. So not beating on yourself, being gentle on yourself if you do react, if you do have an unconscious response, but just being aware of those unconscious responses, where they come from, why they're like that, what beliefs are you carrying around that, can really help you, especially if this is about your partnerships, if this is to do with your one-on-one connections with your partner. This is a time of beautiful growth and beautiful loving ease, and you can uplift your beliefs and your thoughts and your communications with that person and around that person, because you take yourself into every relationship. So if it's not this person and you break up with this person, you're going to take that same character, that same personality into the next relationship and have the same new face, same results. So doing the work, plugging in, having the courage to do the work and make those changes so that you are creating a new way of relating. We have 7 of Coins. And 4 of Wands. This is beautiful, gentle energy. I feel very easy with these cards here. So there is this, maybe that there is this rushing. These two cards are very fast moving. There's a lot of rushing going on, and that may not be that's not going to be beneficial during this time with all this retrograde energy, especially with Venus retrograde. It's a time to sit back and be receptive. It's a time to be easy. It's a time to just reflect and to tend to that emotional and mental space. So being in that receptive mode is going to be beneficial for you, and recognizing when you are trying to rush, when you are trying to push, when you are trying to make things happen fast, and that identifying that that's a trigger, and that's an indicator of, oh, I got to take a deep breath, I need to nurture myself, these are habits I need to change, because there is something to celebrate. Four of Wands. Okay, that's a beautiful celebratory card. It means the universe is celebrating you. It is honoring you. So even if you're feeling defensive, even if you're feeling like you need to stand up for yourself, Seven of Wands, know that the universe is honoring you. Know that you are being seen. Know that you are being heard. And the way that we tap into that energy of feeling seen or feeling heard is through our connection with ourselves, with our inner being, taking our awareness off the other person or off the other people involved and bringing it back home to ourselves and being that for ourselves and opening ourselves up to receive. The Venus retrograde is opening up the heart as a collective. It's really focusing on heart opening. So a lot of people are being encouraged, or everybody is being encouraged, to follow their heart, to be heart-led during this time, which is a practice that a lot of people really struggle with. And the people that resist that work, the people that resist letting their hearts open, will be the people that struggle throughout August and that do not receive the benefits of all of this beautiful cosmic energy. So opening your heart, meaning dropping into the receptive mode, opening up to receiving the blessings from the universe without needing to push for it, without needing to defend yourself, will allow you to reach the highest manifestation of this transit. And we have the Two of Wands, your vision. Your vision is really important at this time, okay? It's really important to work on where you see yourself going, where you see yourself expanding, where you want to improve, to focus on what you want to make happen. And like I said, this isn't a time to take action. It's a time to tend to your state of being so that flows to you, so that you receive that. So dropping the sensation that you have to muscle your way through, because we have the Nine of Swords on the deck. So this is telling me there are fears, there are stresses coming up at this time for you. This may be fears and stresses and lower manifestations of emotional manifestations within your relationships with your partner. It may be in the work environment, or it may just be in life in general. Those fears are going to keep you stuck in toxic patterns, toxic habits. They're going to keep you reaching for sugar, reaching for drugs, reaching for sex, whatever your toxic habits are. They're going to keep you in that unhealthy state of being. When we're in stress, when we're in the fight or flight mode, we literally turn our immune system off. We literally change our DNA, change our genes, so that our body starts to become it starts to become diseased. So we need to uplift that energy, and we uplift that energy through this receptive mode, through this celebratory energy, through keeping our awareness on our vision and having the courage to follow that vision, having the courage to relax and go and be easy on ourselves, be easy on our partners, be easy on our lives. So this is what will be reflected back to you. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, sorry Pisces, is that you will have your annual full moon. That is happening on August the 31st. And yeah, so you get this moon every year, and that's your time to really release any blocks, release any resistance, release any emotional baggage towards being the person, being the character, being the personality that you're wanting to create for yourself. That full moon is conjunct Saturn, who has been in your sign since March. Again, another layer to this is the Saturn transit that has been in your first house. Saturn is wanting you to be very serious about the personality that you are moving forward in life with. And part of that comes from, we are mirrored literally by the other people that we include in our life, by the relationships that we have. So sometimes these lessons come through that way, and the most profound and powerful lessons can come through our relationships, and that full moon is no exception. So this energy within your relationships, within other people, and if you're single, you don't have somebody in your life, that's a relationship in and of itself. So looking at the relationship between you and loneliness, between you and separation. Okay, this is about improving your personality, uplifting your not your personality as in your traits, but your personality as in your state of being that you're projecting out into the world, as in your thoughts, the thoughts you think every day, the emotions you engage in every day, the behaviors that are driven by those things, the belief systems that drive it all. So those things all create your state of being, which is what the law of attraction, what the universe responds to. And so this month is all about that, particularly around that full moon on the very last day of August. So we have spiritual guidance, and enlightenment. So this is a month where you can be guided and enlightened and receive a lot of downloads or receive a lot of information that comes from your inner being, your higher self. This is a time, especially with the Mercury retrograde, where that can happen. And so if you allow it, if you accept it, if you embrace it and you take action on it, then you will see those actions unfold in powerful ways in your life throughout August. If you deny it, if you reject it, if you resist it, then you will see that manifestation as well. So looking at, are the manifestations in my life, are the experiences, are the interactions I'm having painful, or are they loving? And that will show you whether you're following this guidance or not, this spiritual guidance that you're receiving. And enlightenment as well, as we receive this guidance, as we grow, as we nurture our being, as we nurture our state of being, we increase our enlightenment. We become more enlightened through that heart-opening sensation of love and joy. We create enlightenment. And so if you are in alignment with that, you will see that in your environment, in your relationships, as beautiful and easy. And if they're not beautiful and easy, there is an enlightenment that you are resisting. Okay, and there is a need to surrender resentments. Holding on to resentment only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward towards positive situations in your life. This could be the crux of the work for you, Pisces. If you are resentful, if you are bitter, that is going to keep you stuck in this Nine of Swords energy. We cannot be resentful when our heart is fully open, when we are coming from a space of love. That is not possible when with an open heart to feel resentment. All you can feel for other people is love and compassion. Resentment can very easily be turned into compassion through tending to your alignment, tending and nurturing yourself and your alignment with your inner being. So if there is resentment that comes up, particularly in past relationships with ex-partners, if you're still harboring resentment for ex-partners, that is, even on a really unconscious level, being embedded into your future relationships, in your now relationships and your future relationships. And therefore, especially if you're unaware of it, if you're unconscious of it, then that will start to manifest in your relationships and will create toxicity and poison your future relationships, your relationships as you move forward. So there is a need to work on this resentment storyline, and that's what the Mercury retrograde will be here to do for you. By helping, the Venus retrograde is helping you to open your heart, and the Mercury retrograde is helping you to unravel some of those narratives, some of those storylines that you're telling yourself around how other people have wronged you or how you have been hurt in the past, allowing you to release and forgive. Okay, we have make gentleness a habit and master the step you are on. So this make gentleness a habit, I think, is pretty much the same message as this surrender resentment. So resentment is a harsh energy to be in, and it does build into and become bitterness. And bitterness, when it becomes our character, when our personality becomes a bitter personality, it is a recipe for an awful life, Pisces. It really is, and it's so easy to fall into that trap of doing that because we become unconscious about these resentments. We carry them without really realizing it. So as Mercury moves retrograde and brings the unconscious into the conscious awareness, don't avoid that work, do that work, and start to look at where you're resentful, start to look at what your triggers are towards feeling resentment, start to look at how you can undo it. The more you understand it, the more easily you can undo it. And the antidote is gentleness. If you can feel gentle, if you can feel compassion for yourself and for other people, you are going to be able to uplift those thoughts and release and surrender this resentment and master the step you are on. So looking at where you are at in your life, being realistic, being, we cannot create powerful and positive change unless we acknowledge where we're at. So a lot of the self-help spiritual stuff will tell us to just think positive thoughts, just think positive thoughts. I think that's starting to get undone a little bit now, and it is the way to do it, but we also have to be aware of where we're at in reality, in time and space, and acknowledge it and accept it and even embrace it and love it and be grateful for where we're at, because it is the launching pad, it is the springboard into the next step. So mastering the step you are on will allow you to move into the next step. Resisting the step you are on will keep you stuck in this step, because what we resist persists. So therefore, acknowledging, accepting, embracing is the way to move forward. Okay, that is your August forecast, Pisces. I hope this was beneficial for you. I hope there was something in it for you that can help you throughout this month. I really do appreciate your time here with me. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your creative journey. Please subscribe to my channel, because then you'll be notified when I release the Mercury retrograde video. There's like so much information in there about how to utilize the Mercury retrograde to your advantage, how to uplift your thoughts, like actually what to do. It's all in there, and there's a tarot card reading for each sign, so definitely watch that when I release it closer to August 24th. And subscribing to my channel really helps me too. So I appreciate you doing that. Thank you. And take care. Have a really beautiful August, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.